am I doing in the middle of the Rio Grande with an ex-con from Nicaragua named Elvis, a guy who can't swim? Let's go back about an hour or so.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's No BS News Hour with my main man, LeDuff. No bullshit.
Orale!
Oh, jeez.
Hey, regresado, amigo. I'm back in the USA.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Oh, show killer, man. You should have studied harder.
I know, but just look at me, man. I'm a disaster.
You get the COVID. He got the cucaracha.
I did. See?
That shit ain't over, man.
No.
Anyway, we're back. We are back. I told you we were going, and we're going to figure out what's going on down there. And we did cross that. We're going to show you how simple it was. The world premiere will be coming up. I want to thank you all. Thank you, Karen, for minding the ship and, your good stewardship through the Straits of Gibraltar right there. They're good shows.
We tried, Charlie.
Yeah, we did try. What a junky ass show, man. With like sounds going out but this is like it truly is a program, a podcast like no other. That's true, Mark, right? Because you work on a lot of them.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely is. There's a lot of elements.
I mean, there's a
lot
lot
of good elements.
It's a freaking TV show. We were even on Fox last night. I mean, this is a real TV show. And I'd like to say, Karen, it's a program that doesn't treat the people like they're stupid. Unless you want to be stupid, then you'll be treated stupidly. But we know you're not stupid. Like, we don't buy into it. We do our own work, and we make sure it's not boring. That's the key to journalism.
Charlie, you can tell that we don't have a stupid listener or viewership, because of the feedback that we get. People that want to be stupid don't listen. So,
well, they must not be on Twitter because there is some dumb ass. What the hell is wrong with people?
It's the worst.
Politics is not fucking college football. You don't pick a team, you think. You know what I mean?
That's another story.
I'm going to get that blue check mark. I'm going to buy the blue check mark, though.
Yeah?
They can keep the fucking check mark. I'm going to buy us the blue check mark. They can keep it. We don't need the recognition. But do you know, if you buy that check mark, it allows you to edit. Like Twitter's so bad when you fuck up, you can't fix it. And it gives you like 10 minutes of video space instead of 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's a big
It's really huge for this program because Facebook's dead. I don't even.
It really is. It's the worst.
I mean, it's data.
It just has a different demographic. Facebook tends to be old. It's just a recycling of the same people. I like Twitter. TikTok is, constantly emerging. So you got to be on all platforms, Charlie.
Nah, bullshit. Look, I look at Facebook and their data's all wrong. 8,000 people could not have watched it if you're telling me you only sent it to 1,000 people. That just doesn't make sense. So something's real bad over there. Plus, you're hearing it in the news. I mean, they're meeting with the FBI. I mean, they're squelching people, and it's not free speech. And they help lend credence to the lie on the left and the lie on the right. Right? They're letting them spread propaganda, and we're here to clear it up. And all of a sudden, we're getting shadow banned. So I don't know anything about Elon Musk. I don't have an opinion on the guy one way or another. But if you're going to loosen it up, right, and allow, oh, by the way, you get that blue check mark. It does. This is for everybody, not just people with really awesome podcasts and stuff and columns in the Detroit News. It will prioritize your feed. It'll put it up there. So if you're really trying to just communicate the idea.
Do you have to? Because I have a blue check mark, but I didn't pay for it. So is that only for the paid blue check mark people?
I think you're good. I think you are. What do you call it? Grandfathered in. But I don't know if you. I think you get to keep your blue check mark, but I don't know if you get the new groovy stuff. Because if you do,
that's what I was wondering.
If you do, we'll post our shit on yours.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Because if I want to pay $5 a month, I'm a cheap motherfucker. That's a pack of cigarettes. In Chihuahua, gas is $2.50 in Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Why don't you bring any back?
I did, dude, because I drank the water and Piedras Negras, bro. I got plenty of gas. It was really fascinating, really beautiful people. But before we get to the world premiere of the, I like to call it the Ballad, Oración de Elvis. The guy's name's Elvis, the Ballad of Elvis. I'd like to just thank some of our sponsors who made that trip possible so that we, from this border town called Detroit, and it's always about Detroit, people. This is a border town, and there is a connection to what's going on there, and we'll bring that up later. But if it wasn't for Luke Nowacki and his, friendship, we couldn't have got there. He's a personal wealth manager. You reach him at 248-663-4748. Rational human being, a curious man, a good friend of the show, a good friend of mine. He gives me advice that I'm not allowed to give you on the air because you know how it goes. Only chubby dudes who don't own a set of pants, who deal in crypto bullshit, are somehow allowed to do that, right? There are no rules for those guys, but there's rules. So listen,
no, don't take financial advice from a podcast.
Don't.
No, I'm serious. Call Luke.
Call Luke directly, right? Whether it's college savings, it's a pension fund, it is just your retirement account. I-bonds, you know how to do that. Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. Love you, brother. Thanks for the help. And our friend Matt Yaskovitz and his dad, Bernie.
They did a great job.
They do a great job. Technically, that song playing, if you don't mind, it just puts me in a good mood. Yeah.
Specialized.
Right? They give us technical help on this program. They give us technical help on the road, how we're able to broadcast, hot spots. They're experts in internet. They're experts in camera, whether it's for your restaurant, your business, personal security. They manage internet and VO. What is that shit? Voice over
internet? VoIP?
What is that? Yeah.
Voice over internet? Like making a phone call over the internet.
Like we have here, so you can call into the show. They did all that.
Yeah.
Very great. Bernie picked me up and dropped me off at the airport.
He told me all about it.
He's a fucking great dude. A great family. I love these people, and I'm glad to be, associated with them. So, like your security systems, your digital menu boards, you call XG Service Group, 734-245-4100. Are they asking for Matt? They're asking for Matt.
Ask for Matt.
The son of Bernie. The boy genius.
He is.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? He's the boy.
Really brilliant.
And Mark's got COVID, and the boy genius will come in and run the board.
Oh,
I know. I was like, get off your ass, man. Fucking COVID, so 2020.
I wanted to get out of the house.
I did. I'm like, man, hey, Mark, let me say something to you tonight.
Yeah, what?
Wipe your fucking nose. This ain't 2020. You're not going to die of COVID.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to die. I don't like being sick. Sucks. It's the worst, man.
All right. And finally, remember something here. I'm going to bring you ADR. ADR is sponsoring Red. And Red's out on the block because, yes, with the wave of people, like this is an epic, ladies and gentlemen, a wave of people from Central America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, they're all coming through that border. Red, who lives at the Hotel Normandy, in like the poorest big city in America, they got a group of Venezuelans, I believe, moved into the neighborhood. I'm telling you, man, everything comes through Detroit.
It really does.
It really does.
Red's camera's frozen, and I just want you to see where he is right now. He's just frozen with a cigarette in his mouth with a really goofy smile. So
no, it's just that cold, bro.
Okay.
So remember, another really good friend of the show, broadcasting on top of the iconic American Coney Island restaurant. Give me some jingle bells here. 'Tis the season, folks.
Oh, yeah.
'Tis the season. Want a good gift? Want a good gift?
Yes, I do.
A Coney kit. 12 dogs, proprietary dogs. Tub of chili, proprietary chili. You can't get it anywhere else. 12 yummy buns and a Vidalia onion. And one of those nice hats. One of those paper Coney hats right to your door. Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com. The orders are starting to pour in. We might have to shift the daytime show to Tuesday because we got to pack those babies fresh every Monday. Be right to your door that week. Merry Christmas. Give the best piece of Detroit a dozen American Coney Island dogs. The original.
Well said.
Or come on down on Christmas vacation at the corner of Lafayette and Michigan Avenue. It's the big red, white, and blue slice of pie. Mm-hmm. You can visit us because Red works here, I work here, Baby Jesus works here, Karen hangs here, Mark
eats
Yeah.
there.
I do eat.
He's
Good
constant.
point.
I didn't know how to say it, Karen.
He
Like I'm
eats.
the only one.
He eats.
And so does El Oso del Norte. El Oso del Norte, my man Byron Goggin. That's Byron. You all know Byron, but let me tell you Byron's background for those of you just tuning in. You remember
How
Deadliest
many
Catch?
awards did you have?
Huh?
Go back to that. I'm sorry. How many?
I was just introducing Byron.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're going
Go
back
ahead.
to what? The
Karen,
dogs?
no, Karen does have a point.
What do we- what? I'm-
Byron's background is just full of Emmy awards. See? No, now he's turning
No,
the camera.
don't even do that,
He's turning
Byron.
the camera
He's
away
got
from it.
400 Emmy Awards behind him. Go
very
ahead,
impressive.
Charlie. My apologies.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? Is this Emmy Awards?
Yes.
I got
a
no
ton of them.
I got no doubt that the guy. Hey, Byron, did you have to pay for those?
You got to pay to enter.
That's what I'm saying. $300, right?
It's a bit.
I love that.
But-
Look at that shrine to himself.
Look at
Every
that.
one of
Look at
those is a
that.
$300 chip off his ego.
My wife came in today and she's like, "Oh, you got to have this perfect background," and she like arranged everything.
Did she light it too, or did you do that?
Other shit back there, and she's like, "Oh no!" She's proud of me, and I appreciate it.
Well, you should, because like Byron's like a big deal. Like Deadliest Catch, remember that one? The crabbing season in Alaska.
Yep.
Strapping himself in the boat. That was Byron.
Yep.
And remember the ice road truckers in Alaska?
I do, and I remember Byron was on it because he's got a poster behind him there too in the upper right. If anybody's watching, he's got all his posters of everything he's worked on. I like it.
I
like
mean,
it.
it's like
Yeah,
that.
I want to see it. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, so this guy's the real deal.
Wicked
And like,
tuna.
if you guys are like tuning into the Reddit, the Normandy, you know, I sit around, I try to think of the program, and I'm like, perfect, because to me that truly is a growing, potentially a Netflix series. Reddit, the Normandy. You got a great comic, real life, and a world class photographer editor, and that's Byron. So we went to Mexico together. That was me and Byron. It was pretty good. Oh, so they gave him a name. On the Mexican side of the border, we're drinking at a hunting and fishing club with one of our sources, and they named him El Oso del Norte, the bear from the north.
If the shoe
I'll
fits.
take it.
Yeah. It's a
Well,
good
I
nickname.
was worried because you don't know who you're dealing with for real. They could have been cartel, and they're thinking about just fucking drawing and quartering the guy and putting his head on the wall. I didn't know.
What did they call you, Charlie?
Charlie,
Okay.
They called him Dos Mas Tequila.
no, gracias, whiskey, con rocas. Great, right? Great people, right, Byron?
Oh, fantastic people. And I owe them a lot because, our safety was all due to them, and I really appreciate that. They really took care of us.
Because like this is what they said. We actually one day we ate and drank with a bunch of tios, a bunch of uncles, guys, but late 60s, goat and lamb. And it was really great. And Don Valdez wants me to give a message about Eagle Pass, Texas, which is we're good people. It is a fine place. It's our home, and we are more than just violence. We're more than violence. And I said, Senor, I'm from a border town too, a violent place, and that's all they talk about, so I understand. And I wanted to make that so. But having said that, it is a sad and ugly situation, Byron, is it not?
Yeah, it's really terrible. I knew that we were going to walk into something different down there, and I've been through a lot of experiences in my life, but until I actually got there, I didn't really realize what it was going to be like. Also, there's so many pieces of the story, and so many people tell only certain pieces of it. And the whole intrigue of me going with you, Charlie, and why I love working with you is because you tell the whole story, and I really appreciate that. Like it was great to be there with you and be able to bring forth some stories that I hope people really like.
What did you see, bro, that knocked you sideways? I mean, because you are a big bear from the north. I mean, you're from the UP, so that's a whole different border. What would knock you sideways?
Well, in all fairness, it was a lot. It wasn't just one thing. It was a couple things. I was amazed at how many people were coming over the border, and I was amazed at how easy it was to come over the border. And that's why we went there, because the whole idea is it's just one story, right? Like, oh, it's just easy to come over the border. It's flooding. But like, what knocked my socks off is how deep and complicated the issue is. Does that make
Yeah.
And see the amount of people there, to see them putting people on buses and with locked windows and padlocks, these women who have children,
Sucklings.
clinging
Sucklings.
to them and suckling on their tit. Sorry, I mean that's what it is, and you feel sympathy, but then you also know within those people there's probably somebody who, I'm not going to say probably, there may be somebody who snatched somebody's child and is bringing them across to sell them for the sex trade, and if this Border Patrol is unable to identify that, they're going to be successful in it. And it's horrible because it's a nightmare there, right? And it's more than what Cooper will tell you, and it's more than what Tucker will tell you. It's a
Nobody
whole
knows.
story.
Nobody knows. Nobody does it. I mean, they stand there and they
Yeah.
take pictures with drones, but nobody puts their hands on the people. Nobody digs through the garbage. You don't really get to hear how frustrated and angry the Border Patrol is. The National Guard, when you hear the National Guard, they're not there doing anything but shuttling people. So that's no solution. You find out how ineffective and silly the wall is. You see guys in designer jeans. You see hot chicks coming from Havana going to Miami, and they're really cool. And you're just smoking a cigarette like, man, we can get along so fabulously. And you see how broke everybody is and sick, the coughing.
So you see people.
You see
all kinds of people.
You see the I don't want to say unwashed masses because they just came through the Rio, but that thing's a fucking sewer.
Yeah.
Old women. Just it's solvable, but the way we're talking about it is ridiculous. Like the wall's ridiculous, and the fact that, well, these are refugees fleeing from violence. Well, yeah, but that's not grounds for asylum, but it is now. This is, I'm poor and I want to be somewhere. And every time the president, sir, if you're listening, every time that you utter a word, remain in Mexico policy, I'm going to get rid of that my first day, the world hears asylum. Okay. Title 42 is going to run out. I hear asylum. I want to give amnesty to the DACA people, the dreamers. You know, the ones that came over with their parents when they were 10 and they're 30. And I want to give them citizenship. The whole world hears asylum. You got to be careful. It's just soft. It's, well, anyway. We went over. We wanted to see how it worked. Byron and I. Byron did not want to lay in the weeds. I'm like, let's hide in the weeds. Like, we're in a real rough part of town. And there's like 1,000 people were like laying around the center of this town, Piedras Negras, Black Rock. And the locals got pissed. I mean, there's thousands in there just waiting to come. About a week, 2 weeks. And I'm like, hey, dude, we could get in with like this whole, like hundreds. Like, we just pop it if we just hide in these weeds, because there's the crossing spot. Because they're all over the place. Right? Pathways, and you look for the mound of garbage, and that's where they go. Yeah. And I'm like, we just hide in the weeds, we can get in. He's like, oh, fuck, I ain't getting on the fucking weeds. Jumping in on a coyote's goddamn, chickens crossing his shit and get wiped out.
Too much cartel, brother. Too much cartel.
Yeah.
Just say bad lighting.
No me gusta el cartel, bro. No, why don't we, and we came up with a better thought, which is we want a personal story. We want a story of a human, so you human beings might be able to connect to it instead of just a group of human cattle. That's too much. So without further delay, and by the way, great work, Byron. I mean, way to go. Way not to get detained.
I appreciate it. I mean, great work by you too, brother.
Thank you, man. So without further ado, the Ballad of Elvis Moncada. What am I doing in the middle of the Rio Grande with an ex-con from Nicaragua named Elvis, a guy who can't swim? Let's go back about an hour or so.
This is where the smugglers live and the migrants who've been deported for whatever reason. And when they're deported, they come back and they end up in this no man's hellhole. All this gets rented to them. It's part of the price. Very dangerous place. It's 100 yards from the United States, and they're just waiting to jump. And it's about ready to get worse.
Elvis Moses Moncada stands on a bluff staring greedily into America. He describes himself as an out-of-work laborer who served 5 years in the federal pen for sedition against the Ortega regime. Thus, he says, he is a political refugee.
Porque no Mexico?
Mexico is difficult for paper.
I see.
2 years, 3 years.
So he knows that the papers are difficult to get here and there's not a lot of work. It's easier to be there. The papers are difficult, but they're not putting you on. It's easy to find work. So everybody knows. Dude, this is what he's got left in his life. 3 pesos.
Out of money and out of luck, Elvis will have to cross the river himself. The problem is, Elvis can't swim. He watches a group go from the bluff and makes up his mind to go for it.
Ahorita?
Right now?
Right now, he said.
We follow. A surly Mexican official tries to stop us.
Hey, vámonos para atrás. Vámonos para atrás.
Huh?
But he has no power.
Texas. Texas. I have to go with them, and he has my business.
What in my friend?
They will pick me. I will go.
This is not correct, my friend.
He says that's not correct. That's true. But nothing is correct here. About 2,000 migrants cross in this sector every day of every week. And now, with the expiration of Title 42, the COVID policy of returning asylum seekers to Mexico set to expire, hundreds of thousands more are expected to flood these banks. Meanwhile, in the gurgling waters of the Rio Grande, Elvis makes his way. The river's escarpment is lined with concertina wire and garbage from tens of thousands before him. About a quarter mile beyond is a great iron fence, but it's useless. Asylum seekers like Elvis need only touch American soil. Elvis scrambles up the riverbank, steps over the razor wire, and before he can gather his bearings, the Texas National Guard is waiting for him as patiently as an Uber driver to shuttle him to his new life.
Turn on your phone!
Okay.
Wow.
That's pretty powerful, Charlie.
Pretty wild.
Preguntas? Questions?
Oh boy, lots.
Yeah, I mean, I just, my thing is that to be able to see that firsthand adds so much otherwise unspoken context to the images that we see briefly on the news. I mean, here's a person who can't swim risking his life for just the opportunity for a better life.
For this great place. For this great place.
Understandable.
You don't want to be in Mexico. It's too hard to get papers. There's no work. He doesn't have any friends, any family here. The siren of this great place that we're all dogging on and giving up on, and we need not do that.
I was looking at comments on Facebook and YouTube while it was rolling, and people mentioned, too, that you were on Tucker last night. I thought he asked some good questions, and I pulled it if you want to play it.
Oh, you pulled the interview?
I did. Yeah, why not? I thought it was good.
You know what's funny, though? It's like, I go on that program. You go on that program, and all of a sudden you got 2,000 more followers. People see, right? It's a big pro.
Yeah.
And then there's some hateful motherfuckers.
Of course.
Right? Just,
always.
It's Twitter. But it's interesting that they all fucking watch Tucker and follow his feed.
Always, yeah.
You know, you can't help it. So, like,
there's a lot of hate watchers and hate tweeters, and
well,
I get it.
yeah,
Those are cyber gangsters. That's it. They are cyber gangsters. If you ended up with them face to face in the room, they wouldn't open their mouth. They hide behind. I mean, and it's crazy. So just keep it moving, Charlie.
right there, motherfucker. I'm going down there, motherfucker. I'm crossing. But I tell you what, man. Like I said on Tucker, I crossed 20 years ago with the Sinaloa cartel. Yeah. And 20 years ago, you walked 3 nights in the desert. You know why? Because you didn't want to be caught. Did not want to be caught. And now The whole point is to be caught, to
yeah,
get picked
asylum.
up, get processed quickly, and be in.
Yeah.
And again, that fence will not work. I think I probably said that, Tucker. If you got to go ahead, roll it, fuck it. Save me some
So
breath.
you have to kind of wonder, why has no one done what Charlie LeDuff just did? Why haven't we seen this before? Charlie LeDuff has spent 30 years in journalism. He's at the New York Times for a long time. He's now
And Byron.
BS News
Hello,
Hour.
so del norte.
He joins us tonight. Charlie, thanks for coming on. Thank you for doing this. Why? I haven't seen anyone do this before. Why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. That's why I went down there. You know what I mean? The way I look at the coverage, it's the eggheads and the meatheads, and we got no idea really what it's like or what the answer might be. You know what I mean?
What was your assessment of it?
It's a damn mess, and let's like on the left. They're saying, you know, war torn. These are asylum seekers. They're just broke people looking for a better life. That's the truth. On the other hand, on the right, build the wall. That's dumb. Listen to me, people. I don't know where Tucker's going to post it, but go find that whole story. Because if you touch American soil, you get asylum. So when the wall is 20 feet away or a quarter mile in, it doesn't matter. It won't stop anything. So let's do a little experiment. Up here, I'm in a border town, Detroit, with Canada. Let's say DeSantis, if you want to pack a bus full of migrants and tell them, please, don't lie to them, tell them they're going to go to Canada to get asylum, you know what'll happen, Tucker? Canada's going to turn them around. You know why?
Right.
Because we have a treaty with Canada that wherever an asylum seeker first touches, whether it's Canada or the United States, that's where they must apply for asylum. Why do we not have this with Mexico? This is what the pinheads in Washington need to be doing. You know, there's only one border state senator on the Foreign Relations Committee, and that's Ted Cruz, and I don't know where the hell Ted Cruz is.
So you make a really smart point, because my understanding, according to the DHS numbers, almost everybody coming across is not from Mexico. Everyone from Oaxaca who wants to be in the U.S. is already here. These are people coming from Central America or Africa or the Middle East. Was that your experience?
100%. There's Russians, Romanians, Ukrainians, Peruvians, Haitians, people from Niger, Ghana, you name it, they're coming. So here's what's happening. When Trump was in office, he negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy as the president's allowed to do. You're seeking asylum, you must remain in Mexico and wait for your court date. Biden's first day in office, he said he's suspending it. You know what they hear around the world? Amnesty. When Title 42 is going to go down in 2 weeks, they're going to be a bum rush. Because you know what? They're lining up in Mexico. You know what they hear? Amnesty. When you're talking about DACA people, which I don't have a problem with, you grew up here, you're an American, but when he says amnesty, the whole world just floods in, dude. This is 14-year-old girls. I found a vaccination card. She got a birth control implant in her arm a month ago, a 14-year-old. Why? Because she's afraid to be raped and get pregnant. There's a better way to control the movement of people than a damn bum rush. I came in to Mexico 20 years ago with the Sinaloa cartel. We went 3 nights through the desert because we did not want to be apprehended. It's completely flipped around, and everybody wants to be apprehended because they're getting papers and they're going in. And I would do it too. A lot of good people, a lot of hungry people, but the government must manage the flow of human beings in a way that's acceptable to we the people, and they're not doing a damn thing.
It's amazing. Bill Mugen's the only other person who's done any reporting like this, and I'm grateful that you have. Charlie LeDuff, thank you.
Thanks, man. Post that thing somewhere, will you?
Sure we will.
Did you follow up? Did he post it?
I have no fucking idea.
I hope he posted it.
Bill Mugen,
Yeah.
the guy with the hair, and he never did
I haven't
anything
seen
like
anything.
that.
Yeah, give me a break.
He's the drone guy. Oh, good for him.
I do have a follow-up question. What's that, Karen?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
And this is maybe a minor thing, but when you cross the water, how dangerous is that part? Because it looked like the currents are pretty deep, and that water looks gross. And I mean, I don't know. Do you know what the terrain is like when you just go in? Of course not, right?
Let's ask El Oso. You still there, Oso?
I'm here.
Go ahead. Let's ask him.
You know, it's so as we're standing on the bank, we're watching other people, right, who are crossing, and so you kind of get an idea of the trail that they're going. Probably the most dangerous part of it was the current, right? I mean, I'm a big bear, like the name.
Big cuddly bear.
Maybe, my breast area, but like to Charlie and Elvis, like it was deeper. And to a woman, even worse. In many cases, they're carrying an infant. And one of the border crossing or one of the border patrol people was telling us a story that happened just a short time before. A woman was trying to cross, and the baby slipped from her arms and was swept down the river and drowned. And so, if you're a strong male, maybe you might not worry about it so much. But like,
but you do.
You travel 30 days across Mexico, and you're a woman and you're tired or whatever. I'm just being honest about it. Like,
But let me jump in there. But you do worry about it, because if you know anything about a river, it's mucky. There could be a sinkhole. There could be a drop off, right? If you can't, you can see that guy was scared as shit. You can see him stumbling, like so badly, like he was going to make himself fall. So, talking to that group of 350, 400 people, I'm like, how'd you cross? Well, the coyote will bring you up to the river, but he won't walk you across. So when you're walking across, you don't know what's going on. And one dude from Havana told me he went under because he went in a spot he didn't know. Right? Yeah. Others did not, but that's why in these large groups, like usually a man, by their telling, will go first. The guy that could swim, because he gotta be the guide. Wow. So it's just a leap of faith.
And I don't know if you remember, Charlie, but like you were only like 20 yards upriver from where I was, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'6", 260, right? And you saw me struggling. I almost went down, right? Yep. Like. I was nervous about it. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, and I was worried for you, dude.
So if you get off on the wrong place, you're done.
I was worried for you because I was like, fuck, there goes all the footage.
Of course you don't give a damn about me, but
Dude, throw me the camera!
I was the same way. It's like, oh no, the gear, we can't lose the gear.
Dude, you all right? Don't get that wet. What are you doing? But you saw it in our post. I mean, people, our first reports from there, Karen. You're going into the weeds there and looking at all the garbage. Like they're taking like empty water bottles and tying them together, and hopefully that's enough to float them. They can't swim. They're from the desert. Yeah. They're from inland. Mexico's a very arid place.
But that whole thing just speaks to the uncertainty.
Byron, don't talk over people. So. Go ahead, Karen.
That's okay. Go ahead, Byron.
No,
Go ahead.
No. I'm running the show now, Karen. I'm back. What were you saying, my friend? What were you saying?
I was saying that it's just the whole thing was just representative of the uncertainty of their life and their future. Because if you've ever walked through any kind of water, even a puddle, if you drive through. It's scary because you don't know if it's a pothole. You don't know if you're going to drop off. I mean, there's a lot of, uncertainty and just blind faith that has to be applied just in this whole process.
And so let's do this too. This is a question somebody asked me. Okay, well then why are they fat and why are their shoes fresh and why are they wearing designer jeans? Well, they're wearing designer jeans because a lot of them are like young dudes. And if you're leaving your country, you're taking your designer jeans.
You're taking your best stuff.
You're taking your best shit, man. I'm getting to Miami. Could you imagine this motherfucker get to Miami and he's trying to get into the club with his last 3 pesos, by the way, is 15 cents.
Oh, God.
You're trying to get into the club. You don't got any money for a drink, but you got your jeans on. Okay, number one. Number two, why are the shoes dry and everything? Because people have a change of clothes before they go. Before they walk through the water, they're in plastic bags, and you can see when they get over, they strip naked and they put new stuff on.
That's why all that stuff's left behind, right?
That's right.
And they leave the wet stuff
I mean,
behind.
I've got a Cuban passport. They left everything behind. Dolls, clothes, money, right? Old useless, pesos and bolivars and you name it, just littered. So why are some of them heavy? Because they're heavy. Because even if you're making a long journey, you're not going to lose 40 pounds. How do they make the journey? How do they make the journey? Some people go like this. The richer people, like the Venezuelans, you'll fly to Mexico City, you'll fly to Managua, Nicaragua, right? You'll take a bus. The very poor people like Elvis, he took a bus, a taxi, he walked, he took freight trains, rode a tractor, any way you can. There's a whole highway going on. So the circumstances, depending on your, like you're from the Ukraine, you're flying into Mexico City. You get a 30, oh, by the way, the Mexicans are very corrupt.
Oh, I'm shocked.
So these 30-day travel visas, right, that are supposed to be, you get those by paying a bribe. So you get 30 days to travel in Mexico, and they know where you're going.
Yeah, they're passing through.
They're passing through, and they're going right to the border, so pay me. So that's how that happens. So the richer people can take airplanes and a bus. The poorer people walk. So I can't divide them all up for you, but that's how that works. Now, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? I refer you back to Canada. My good friends in Canada, we have something called the Safe Third Country Treaty, 20 years old. If somebody seeking refugee status presents himself at the border, whichever country they landed in, whether it be Canada or the United States, that's where you must apply for asylum, and so you go back. So if you're in America and you go to Canada, I want asylum, they turn you right the fuck around. Okay, there's an issue with that. The treaty says if you present yourself at a legal port of entry, but there's a loophole. What if you jump the border there? If you're like in the United States and you jump like upstate New York, we don't got to take you back. So Canada takes them. Canada's up in arms because, dig it, this year so far about 25,000 people have done that. Okay? And they're running out of space and they're running out of money, except we get 25,000 people a week. We got 10 times the population of Canada. They're bigger land-wise than us, and yet Canada can't take them. And Trudeau, owed Pinky Trudeau, right? Justin Trudeau is advocating for expanding the treaty to include the whole border. Justin don't want them either. So don't talk to us here about hating, because I don't hate. We got room, but I want it orderly. I don't want kids raped, and I don't want us making the cartels powerful and more rich. So why don't we have a treaty with Mexico? What's Mexico doing with Guatemala? Where's Salvador in this? Yeah. Where's Honduras? Why aren't we at a table?
Yeah.
This is the solution.
So it takes a will.
But you will not get this from our senators in Michigan. You will not get this from the president. You won't get this from the Republicans. Nobody's actually doing the real work. Something is possible. If we have NAFTA, then we could have tied this into it, but we didn't. I'm just against the exploitation of human beings, and I'm against the bum rush. I'm in no way against an immigrant of our choosing, and of course asylum's a whole nother thing, but what are the parameters of that? This is fucking ridiculous. And Byron will tell you, it's sad.
Well, your president said that he felt like there were more important things to talk about and to do. So obviously it's not a priority for him.
I told you, Karen, these political parties and the people, you could see it locally. You could see it in these state and the federal government. Hipsters, well-fed, pretentious degrees. You won't get dirty. You won't go. It's a political liability, or you're scared. The reporters won't do it. The politicians won't do it. I like the Border Patrol people. And most of them are Latino. So don't tell me that they're fucking racist, because they're not. And they have a big heart for these people. But the way it's being done is a fucking outrage. And Canada knows it.
And Charlie, do you mind if I say something? In the way that it's covered is that way also. Like, we watched other reporters there from other networks, right? They don't get any closer than 100, 200 yards away, sometimes a quarter mile away. Nobody's willing to go in and do the work and get their hands dirty and tell the real story. And if they do tell a story, it's just a little section of the story. It's not the whole story. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
And you want to know how the dope comes in? Here, let me hip you to this. Without question, without doubt, every single time when you see a big group of people, right? This is done on purpose by the cartels. They get a gigantic group of people, they push them into the river. What do the American authorities do? The Border Patrol, the National Guard, right? Local sheriffs. They all have to respond, process, load them, take their belongings out, right? Deal with it. So everything we got in that sector is now pointing inwards. Go a mile down the river, here comes your boatload of fentanyl. Yeah. It's exactly how they work it. It's exactly how they work it.
Pretty smart.
Mr. President.
Yep.
And people are dying of fentanyl. Now, I don't even want to say it. I don't have permission from my family. But, you know, when people die of fentanyl, they don't know they're getting fentanyl.
Yeah.
They put that shit in weed. They put it in what you think is cocaine.
Heroin.
They put it in what you think is heroin, meth, anything recreational, any kind of, because they're giving you bunk.
They press into tablets.
They're giving you bunk. Yeah, the fake oxy.
Yeah.
They're giving you bunk, selling it to you. It gets you high. Hopefully you don't die, but it's not what you think it is. I plead with you. Do not buy shit like that off the street.
Yep.
It's everywhere. This is another consequence. This is the cartels. Here's another thing. Byron and I, we will not reveal it, but we have very good contacts. I would now call them friends in the state government of Coahuila, right? That's Piedras Negras, Eagle Pass. That's Maverick County.
Like state,
that's
yeah.
Coahuila County. They've done a very good job of fighting the cartel. The reason the double traffic is going through Coahuila County state is because they do a good job of keeping the violence out. So the Gulf cartel, the Zeta cartel, and the Sinaloa cartel, they're at war. They're in like Reynosa, butchering each other. They're in Juarez, butchering each other. Not so much here. So I'm going to give you a message, Mr. President. The authorities of the highest level in this Mexican state want a solution, because when Title 42 ends and the flood comes, well, naturally, the cartel seeks to fill that vacuum, and they don't want the violence. It's not a failed state, but by our inaction, we're creating another failed state. We are bolstering these criminal organizations, and these are bad motherfuckers. It's nothing like La Costa Nostra. Nothing like. It's paramilitary shit. So we must do something. So wipe your noses, stop tweeting me. I'm telling you the truth, and I don't care about Trump, and I don't care about Biden. I don't care about the what ifs. I care about us. I care about these people. Thousands have disappeared. Yeah. Right, Byron? I mean, it was heavy, dude. I'm still tired.
Yeah, it was heavy. It was heavy. Some of the stories that we heard from the Border Patrol guy just blew me away.
The Mexican officials, the immigrants themselves, like, we worked hard. We didn't just sit there and set up a live shot. We worked into the night.
The hardest work, Charlie, was listening to those stories.
The hardest work for you was like, hardest work for me was listening to those stories and have to translate to you. Right?
Yeah, I don't know any.
Because I'm like, you know, man, I like, you know, I speak like a dog, but this dog can bark, and I'm like, I'm not quite sure what he said. Hold on a second, we're gonna work it through this app, and it was just like torturous. And then Byron's like, what? I'm like,
Charlie,
he said we're gonna die, motherfucker. That's what he said.
Did you see Cabrera while you were down there?
Cabrera?
Yes.
Karen.
I know I'm mispronouncing his name.
Didn't we?
Did you not watch the show that you hosted?
Did you not watch the show you hosted?
I did watch it. I wanted you to talk about it. That's why I'm bringing it back up, because I want to tie it into everything else.
Well, wait.
Go with the flow.
No, that's you're doing a Fox 2 toss.
She did it really well, though. I'll give her that.
Hey, did you run into
It was a good
Cabrera?
toss. It was a good toss, Karen.
I'm not even going to answer that because that was like a little BS. We're no BS. So you.
No, it wasn't.
It
Oh
wasn't.
wasn't.
Oh yeah, you're like, hey man, did you see Cabrera? I'm like, yeah, I was on the show you hosted. I saw Cabrera.
I saw the show. You didn't see the show. I saw the show. You were there. I wanted to just bring some of what happened into the conversation as it aligns to the human interest side of the stories. I mean, because he's down there, we've talked to him before, and he's part of the Border Patrol. That's all.
Well, now, what do you want to know? Yeah, he was there for sure. He was speaking in his capacity as the vice president of the Border Patrol Union because, again, the government's not allowing anybody to talk. They're telling us to turn off our cameras, what we don't have to do, right? But we're going to do it anyway.
What's the status of their funding?
They tell us to stay 60 feet away from the people. You can't touch them or shake their hand. We're going to do it anyway, but we're not going to be disrespectful. And because of Cabrera, well, goddamn, I get asked a question. Let me finish my thought. If you're with Cabrera, you get some respect. Chris Cabrera is a respected man on the border.
Oh, yeah.
He's a fucking man on the border. Chris Cabrera is a man, the man. I mean, that's a dude. Now, I hope he doesn't fuck up in his life and somebody dredges up that. I can't vouch. I mean, but he's respected.
Right now, yeah.
You got the name Cabrera on your lips. You're respected. The guy has put his life into this. By the way, Chris Cabrera. You understand what I'm saying? There's not a hate bone in the man's body. But the man's trying to do a job.
He's the reason, Charlie, that I was almost able to crawl in the car in the paddy wagon, so to speak, with the people and get shots from in the bus, right? I mean, he made it happen. Everybody else is 200 yards away.
He sends his best, Karen, and he really does. I mean, because he really, likes you. He, first time he came on the show and you guys were having a talk, he was just like, I mean, he knows quality people,
Well, but you could see that in the piece that did air on last week's show, Charlie. But I did want to bring
now
that
you
into
admit
our-
it. Just kidding. Go ahead, you're saying him.
No, I'm just saying that was, his passion, his commitment, and even the respect that he carries on the border was evident in that piece. But I thought it had some relevance in today's conversation. That's all.
I mean, he resents being an Uber driver.
Yeah.
He resents
Can
being an
understand
Uber
that.
driver, and that's what's going on. And again, if we have a treaty, I don't care where you see life, that's cool. Like, God didn't say I'm right. You know what I mean? I'm living here with you. I respect all of you out there. If you believe we have room and more people should come, then there should be a mechanism. And this administration fully believes that more people should come. We can do it in an orderly way. The next administration comes and say, we don't need that at this point. Then we have an orderly way to do that. But it's just complete disorder, sloth, and laziness. And I beg all of you to bring yourself up to speed, to ask for such a thing. What's the solution? Whether you just don't like immigration, you don't like mass migration, you don't like a bum rush, you don't like people getting raped, you don't like cartels, you don't like dissafety, whichever it may be, we can come to a common solution, which is let's get some legality in order. That's what I came away with. That's what instead of a guy named Elvis, I liked him. I mean, we hung out for an hour and a half. I mean, what do you really know? But you could tell he was no gang tattoos. He did time. Maybe I believe his story. Maybe I don't. That's up to the Border Patrol. But I respected the shit out of what he was doing. If he's not, I asked, are you a criminal? You believe in God? You got kids? You feeding them?
What do you say? What
What do you think I'm doing? Yeah,
it's ballsy. It's desperate.
Charlie, I'm sorry. You asked me in the beginning what was the thing that probably stuck with me the most, and it might have been the whole thing about the border wall, right? I mean, just the fact that it really had, it didn't matter. All this talk about the border wall for years, and it no relevance. All you got to do is touch the ground. As I've been sitting here for 30 minutes thinking about it, it's the border wall. Like
it's horseshit.
So what?
The border wall
So
works.
what?
The border wall works. I know y'all got fed your talking points. I know because I get the messages and you're tiring me. But the wall works in this way. In urban centers, it stops a bunch of people from running in and mixing in. Right? Oh, but by the way, when you're driving, here's the federal law. Within 100 miles of the border, they're allowed to stop you and ask for your fucking papers. You, the American citizen. If you're within 100 miles. And they did it to us. Right, Byron?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
So the walls in the urban areas make sense because at least it's stop, boom, spotlight on you, psst, get out there, ding, ding, ding. It stops you from driving in weapons or driving out weapons. It stops you from bringing in shitloads of fentanyl in the urban area. So it drives people out of the urban area where we can see you. Works in that way. That's what that's for. Hear that clearly. Rewind the tape and listen to what I just told you. Because I've spent months, a year on the border in my life and career. Here's what it does not do. It does not stop an asylum seeker. Elvis was praying in the water, and I'm like, if I was you, motherfucker, I'd do the side shuffle. Yeah. And get the fuck on shore. Make sure, because until you make sure, right? But then again, I don't even know if that's true because the international boundary runs through the middle of the river.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is get halfway through the river, in my legal estimation.
The relief on his face too when he hit the shore. I don't know if that's because
por Dios,
because he made it or because he survived the water, or both.
Because the enormity of the man's life, prison, poverty, 1,500-mile journey, 3 pesos, a river I can't swim. I fucking made it. This guy's more excited to be in America than me or you.
Yeah. That's a great point, yeah.
So we got room for that. I think we got room for that. Like, new blood is good. Russians are good for us, right? Ghanaians are good for us. Haitians are good for us. Mexicans are good for us. Ukrainians are good for us. They inject some stuff, some toughness, some desire, some ethics, some culture. I believe that. But I believe you must respect what's here.
Good job.
Thank you.
Both you guys.
Now, here's the thing. Just a pitch for me and Karen. It's kind of cool. I got the front page of the Detroit News today. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Got a little extra room. Thank you, Nolan Finley, over at the Detroit News. You can all subscribe for $1 for 6 months. That's like 3 pesos. 3 pesos a month, right?
Yeah.
And DetroitNews.com, Karen and I she's on Tuesday, I'm on Wednesday, and I'm reading this, and I just got it because back to home. To the right of it says, COVID out of spotlight, but still claiming lives in Michigan. Sorry, I got to do this, Nolan. I'm sorry, it's no bullshit news hour. Because this is something else we do. So it's basically saying there's an acceptable death toll, we're all going to go back to work, but it says this. There are a lot of reasons why. Public COVID requirements are largely gone. Deaths are significantly fewer. In the past week, Michigan reported 242 COVID-related deaths in 7 days. That's about 36 a day. That nearly matches how many people were dying, the 242 in a week. Nearly matches the amount of people dying from the virus in a single day during the winter months of late 2020 and early 2021, when the state recorded multiple days with more than 200 deaths each. And that was before vaccines were widely available to the public. So, they're saying we have a little itty-bitty death count now, nowhere near what it was before we had vaccines. At the mammoth spike, the biggest spike was December, January 2020, 2021. That's not right. That's misleading. That's not correct. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Get my lawyer on the phone. Get Steve DeLee from the Mackinac Center on the phone, okay? Because he and I had to sue the state for the COVID numbers. He and I actually co-wrote, I don't think his name's on it. I don't think his bosses would let his name be on it. We went through all the data, and you got him? Is he on the phone?
Steve, you there?
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Steve, what up, though, baby?
Hey, how was Texas?
Horrible, homie. Me gusta mucho. Me gustaría mucho. I loved it, dude. I loved it. I love adventure. I love doing stuff. It makes my life meaningful. In an exercise of futility, which is life, which is there really is no meaning. You must find your meaning. Mostly the meaning's found in each other, and I found a lot of people that mean something to me. So it was great.
Good. I'm glad to hear it was fulfilling.
Okay, good. Now listen, dude. This article says that at the high spot in COVID, when Whitmer had to shut everything down, we were having 200 deaths a day. That's not true. That was that asterisk. Remember?
Oh, I remember that asterisk very well. We ended up suing over that one.
Yeah, we sued him. What was the asterisk, bro?
So those asterisks were those vital records deaths that we've been talking about for over a year now. Those are the deaths that they just went back and looked at death certificates and said, "Oh, this is a COVID death," and added it into the total of that day.
Yeah, so they would it's a COVID death. They're going to comb over shit over 30 days because they didn't have their shit together, and we now know they couldn't keep any data. So they would go look at death certificates, and then 1 day or 2 days a week, they drop a gigantic number, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were days where that was the majority of reported deaths.
Yeah, like as this newspaper article says, some days we had 200 deaths, but that's not true. They were deaths. You and I sued. We could never find out who died, how old they were, where they lived, what their race was, what day they died, right? They just dumped them into a box, and all these fucking gerbils in the media went with that crap, and now we're using it. They never questioned it. We sued. Now they're using it as an excuse. Well, COVID's not so bad now, right?
That's what they're trying to say. They're at least saying, where it's not as bad as it was, but, we worked on that piece about 6 months ago, and our conclusion was, our death levels have been pretty consistent throughout.
So what piece did we do in June, dude? What did our piece say?
So that was the one that we had talked about. Essentially, it was an annual anniversary piece. So we went back and we looked June to June from 20 to 21, and then 2021 to 2022. And our deaths were 8% higher, but at the end of the day, they were pretty darn close to where we were at the worst period.
Speak English. What do you mean? What did we find out?
I guess if I translate it this way, everything that we did in 2020 doesn't really seem to have had any real effect on the COVID death toll. We have vaccines in 2021. We'd opened society, but the death toll on both counts remained the same.
So, no, actually, the year that we had the vaccine, we had more deaths than the year without the vaccine. Right?
Yeah.
There's been more COVID deaths since the vaccine in this state, that the deaths actually went up in this state when in this country the deaths went down. There's something afoot here, right, bro?
I mean, it certainly calls into question all of those policies that got put into place in 2020.
So let me do this. Watch this, Holmes. June of 2020 was 33 months ago? Something like that? Almost 3.
Your math.
Wait, okay, so how many months ago was June of 2020? June of 2020 to 2021 to 2022, that's 24, and then another 6. So in 30 months. 30 months, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Pull your calculator out. How many days is that? Let's just do this. 30 months, let's just say it's 30 days, right? That's 9,000 days. Is that correct? No, I'm sorry. 900 days. So 40,000 deaths so far. divided by 900 days. What is that? Yep. I'll get my lawyer on the line. This is what
44.4.
44.4. So the average death per day was about 44, right? And what did we average last week? 36. 36. So to tell me that it's over, no, what this is, and I'm not accusing the writer of anything, but you are massaging what happened here. What we're talking about, COVID it's the same as it was in June of 2020 when the deaths actually went down. We just averaged in everything. When you stretch the band out, it's 44 a day. We got 36 a day. It's the fucking same. So what this really says to me, whatever this douchebag on Twitter is, the one that keeps accusing me of hunting Governor Whitmer. And you fell short, you hack. I'm a fucking reporter. I don't care about you, you dope. And yeah, I muted you, you dope. Because I like to listen to smart people that disagree with me, but not dopes. So here's the deal. No, we shut it down. The mistakes were made. Other states did not shut it down. And we got the same death count. We got the same death count. We got a higher death count than everybody. Why? You may not rewrite history. The death count is not less, Madam Writer. In the very same newspaper that we work, I wrote that with Steve. Steve, how many databases did we go through?
Oh, that project took a better part of a week. I mean, we were in the state's data, the New York Times data. Heck, we went to other states' data to cross-check how it looked across the Midwest. I mean, that was a big project.
It was, because we didn't want to get a thing wrong for 800 measly words, right?
Oh, no. The number of times we went back and forth on phrasing and numbers, no, we had that one tightened up.
And why did we want that tightened up, bro? One is our reputation, but the other was we want to tell the truth to the public, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're going to say that this is the data, we need to be right. Because if we're wrong, it doesn't help anybody. But if we're right, we can at least bring light to something that people can use to evaluate policies and what's actually going on. I mean, the truth matters to people.
The truth matters. Write that down, man. The truth matters. La verdad es importante. El último. The truth matters. We fucked ourselves up. And I'm sorry, whatever your name is, Brace or Bryce or Brit or Bonehead or whatever. Dude, information is good for you. I'm not hunting anybody. I don't deny any elections. I don't hate any people. I hate rapists. And people that sell junk to people and kills them. I don't like them.
And pedophiles.
And pedophiles. Fucking hate pedophiles. Hate them. Ain't nothing cool about it. You'll never find any, what is that? They got a new word for that. What is that? The
new word for what? Pedophiles?
Pedophiles.
I'm not up on my new pedophile lexicon.
I know, man. I'm not into it. So that's what Steve and I do. He's a good man. He's not a partisan. Are you, Steve?
No, I am not.
Are you a pedophile?
I am certainly not that.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, in case he is, Karen, I mean.
Better to know now.
Better to know now.
You know me better than that, Charlie.
Yeah, but I'm an old grizzly guy. I mean, I'm not your type, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about
Charlie.
Well, okay.
Stay focused.
We'll fix it in post.
Please do.
Just glad to be back.
I can tell.
Just glad to be back. Steve, I love you, man. You do God's work. That's my lawyer, Steve. Sorry about the pedophile.
Thanks, Charlie. I love being on.
You go with that, man. Okay.
Can I ask Steve a question before he goes?
Oh, so yeah.
Can you hear me, Steve?
Sure can, Karen. Go ahead.
Do you still have your mugs?
I do. Yes, I have. I'm obviously at home at the moment, but it's sitting on my desk.
That's all that matters.
And thank you again for that.
Is that code word? Is that some pizza parlor code word? What do you mean, mugs?
No, no.
No, last time you had me on, she was kind enough to send me some best lawyer and best box mugs.
Get out of here.
That's so nice.
No, she's very gracious.
This is ridiculous. Okay, wait, just hold on.
I'm the nice half of the team.
Yeah, well, I'm the tired half, but I mean, we're a good team, Karen. We're a good team.
Yeah,
Me, you,
so.
and Byron, and Mark, and Hippie, and Luke, and
Red.
Grace, and Red, and Bernie, and Barry,
And everybody kicked in, Charlie, while you were gone. There were all hands on deck. Everybody did what they had to do to make sure that the show went off, that you guys were connected. I mean, so it's good to be when everybody has, a common goal. It makes all the difference in the world.
And what is that goal, my friend?
That goal is to make sure that we factual, topical information to the people who carve out time in their day to listen and watch us.
Well said. Now, we're running late, but I believe Red has got frozen balls out there on Woodward. Red, you out there, bro?
Yeah, I'm still out here.
Down to his last cigarette. Red's out there at the Normandy. I encourage you all, if you're listening to this, go to our Facebook, go to Twitter, go to YouTube, and check out all the visuals, because this is a good-looking shot. Red's got a report from Midtown Detroit. He's staying at the Flop House Normandy. I say that with all respect. You know that whoever owns the Normandy, Flop House is a good place. People need to flop. Red's there.
I've been flopping for a minute now.
So, Red, unbelievably, in that neighborhood there, that $128 a month a week hotel,
$139.
$130. They raised the price?
Yes. Inflation has hit the Normandy. I'll report that later.
Are you getting any kind of government assistance, man?
Not a fucking dime.
Maybe you should go
I
to
can't
Canada.
even get food stamps.
Maybe.
Why? They gonna deport me back here? They don't want us.
No, just tell them, go to the port of entry. Tell them you're a refugee. There's too much violence. That your sexual orientation makes you a target. And
Charlie. Oh my God.
I'm just telling him how to get in. This is what you got to say stuff to get in.
He's trying to get out.
Got to get your story straight.
They don't take men in Canada?
I don't know, Canada, if you're online, go ahead and type in any men in Canada. We're asking you to go ahead and answer that one. I will not answer.
You said sexual orientation. I'm a man. I'm just saying. Anyway, man, stay focused here. We'll fix that in post.
All right, so what do you got for us out there in this cold, cold night? Oh, wait,
Well,
it's not cold. It's not cold. That's not steam vapors. That's your cigarette.
Oh, no, it's cold. I'm just making it look like it's warm. I'm freezing my nuts off, actually. But since you went down to the southern border and to check out a border town with the immigration wave, I decided here, from a tip that was given to me, to check out some immigration things here. And
Where'd you wait? You got a tip. Where'd you get that tip?
I don't divulge my resources.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Reliable.
I'll give you permission.
You give me? Oh, it was you. Since
okay,
you
great. Yeah, there you
go. Hey, I'm a journalist in training here, so we hadn't discussed that. So I went with what I saw in the movies.
You failed. You failed. You divulged me. No, but go ahead, brother.
So on the tip, we went to follow it up, and I tried to get some information. And one thing is you need to know how to be able to communicate with people. And since I don't speak no kind of Spanish, I didn't get very much. But this is what I got, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Can I ask where you're from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. You guys came up in the summertime. Did y'all decide to leave Venezuela to come to America?
Yeah.
Job, work, not a lot of work over there.
Oh, okay. As you can see, I didn't get much.
That's a hell of an interview, man. That's unbelievable.
That's going to be the new state of interviews.
You know we're going to call you? El Lobo del Norte.
Hey, all I know is Ola, okay? We cut that out. All I knew was Ola, okay? I'm not the Great Bear or whatever the hell it is. But shit, first of all, I want to know who told these people it was jobs over here like that. First of all, you're around the corner from the fucking Normandy, okay? Whoever sent them here in hopes of a better life, you couldn't have sent them to Bloomfield Hill, Rochester. Fuck it, Warren, okay? They're around the corner. It's a churches here, a closed down Save-A-Lot, a laundromat, and a liquor store with 4 gas stations, okay? This is not a great start to a new life, unless Venezuela is really jacked the hell up. Because they were happy as hell. Everybody in the house smiling, great people. And, you know, I just really would like to know who sent them here. They did not look at a map and say, I'm going to leave this country, risk my life, and go move around the corner from the fucking Normandy. I refuse to believe that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. After what we see they go through to get here, it is no way I'm going to believe that they planned this. Okay, they got here, and the folks at the board, stop lying to these folks. Tell them the truth, okay? Tell them you sending them somewhere that possibly could be as bad as where they just came from.
It's like the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol's like, hey, send them up to Detroit. Send them over to the Normandy.
That'll be great.
I'm pissed at the Border Patrol. I feel for these folks. I'm trying to get the hell out of here. Shit, I'll probably go from where they came from. See if it's the same.
I don't think it was a Border Patrol. Somebody wrote it down for him, and they gave it to the officials. I'd like to go here. I heard it was awesome.
Oh no! You know what it was? I think they read that international report that named Detroit as one of the best tourist spots to go. See, this is what misinformation gets you.
Hey,
but on
compadre, do you know where this new Asian fusion restaurant is?
But on a real note, you know, I'm joking and talking a lot of shit. I feel the plight of these folks, you know, you have to really think about it. If you leave an entire country to go to another country to work, it must really be bad. It ain't like it's convenient for us. We can go from city to city, state to state, no biggies, don't deal with none of the hardships or tragedies. So they're happy to be here. Very talkative, nice people, looking to work, do their thing. And I agree with you, Charlie. The fatheads up in Washington really need to get together and come up with a better solution to bring these folks here that want to have a better life, hard work, and contribute and be American citizens.
And you know, brother, you make a good point there, because if you've ever been to South America or Central America or many parts of the world, if you think this is poor, you don't know shit. Mm-hmm. You don't know shit. There's plenty of opportunity here. Hate to sound a little old about it, but you know, get off your ass and make your life, man. There's opportunity here.
But you know what, Charlie? There's another
wait. I think Red's getting propositioned. Did you hear that? Red, what's going on?
No.
Like he's like, don't wreck my thing.
You don't speak to everybody. Rule number 1. You play deaf.
Did he just say you play deaf? He said deaf.
Yes.
Deaf, however you want to say it.
Perdón, señora. Yo soy muerto. I'm dead.
But Charlie, there's another lesson in this too. I mean, we want and expect so much and associate that having everything and having so much makes us happy, when in actuality, it's the simplicity of family. It's the simplicity of having a home. These people don't have a lot, but they have opportunity and they're happy to be here and they're happy with each other. And I think as we go through the holiday season, we all need to reevaluate just, you know, who we are, what we have, what we actually need, and assess the fact that we probably have everything we need to at least be content and happier than we think we are.
That's probably true, but Red can't speak a lick of fucking Spanish, so we'll never know.
Well, it's not my fault. They gave me punk ass French in high school, and I didn't like it. I tried to take Spanish. They wouldn't give it to me, so I learned "Comment allez-vous" and "Hola." That's the only foreign shit I know, French and Spanish. So I'm gonna get me
All
a
you have to do
Rosetta
is smile.
Stone.
Okay, well, here's
Yeah,
what
I'm
you're
gonna
going
get a
to have to
Rosetta
do.
Stone.
The neighborhood's changing, Holmes, so you better start learning some Spanish. I would encourage everybody just a little bit. What's wrong with that? They do it in Europe.
Yeah,
We're not Europe.
we're multicultural. We're a multicultural country. Just live with it, understand it, and hey, we get along a lot better if we can understand each other. I see that now.
We'll leave it at that.
But just smile, Red. Everybody understands that.
That's a good one, brother. We'll leave it
Most
at that.
definitely.
Sister, brother, and everybody else out there, my sisters and brothers. Orale. Thanks, Big Bear. It was great hanging out with you, Holmes. That was really enjoyable, man. That's memorable.
Good time. Good time.
It was. It was cool. Respect, man.
I appreciate you.
Big, hairy, ballsy bear. We're going to leave you with the rhymes and stylings of El Oso del Norte, Byron Goggin, who's got many, many blue Emmy Awards.